My name is Gloria Callo, and I'm the Executive Director of CareNet Pregnancy Center of Rockland. Thank you for joining us on this, our first ever virtual banquet. Until 2 weeks ago, we were still considering having our usual gathering, but we're living very uncertain days, and safety is our most important concern. I trust this brief time together will speak to you for continuing to make a bold decision to stand for truth and stand for the unborn. Today we know unplanned pregnancies are not stopping because a pandemic is hurting our communities. CareNet Pregnancy Center of Rockland is a faith-based Christ Center ministry. We offer options counseling that has to do with presenting women and men who are facing an unplanned pregnancy with all the options for choosing the life of their child. We offer free pregnancy testing, parenting classes for those who choose to parent a child.
Everything we do here is free and confidential. We're not only interested in this child, but we're also interested in the mother and her future. I've had some girls that I've set goals with, and some of them have achieved those goals.
I found CareNet because I am a single mom, and when I found out I was pregnant at 4 months, I found out that the baby was going to be born with Down syndrome. I had him planning to give him up for adoption because I didn't want to abort, but I have 2 older children, and I was going through menopause when I got pregnant with my son, and I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to be a new mom. Spoke with Kathy, and she interviewed me, and through the interview I told her that I was feeling overwhelmed and I already had the baby, but I wasn't planning. My plan was not to keep him, to raise him. So I was looking for an open adoption, but I really wasn't sure what I was doing, what I was feeling at the time. I was feeling a lot of emotions, and she prayed with me that afternoon, and that clicked for me.
I always wanted to help women when they found out that they're pregnant, because at a young age I became pregnant, and it was very scary for me, and there was no place like CareNet.
It's a rewarding ministry to be able to help a woman understand what is the life that is growing inside of them.
We also help men. I've counseled couples. A couple of them I've led to the Lord. And a lot of them have had their children, and they're in the church, and the children are in the church. So they have spiritual guidance as well.
Even when we don't get to see the end effect of whatever services we give, we know that we were obedient to God for doing what is right and upholding the sanctity of human life. We are so grateful and thankful for all of you who supported us during the past few difficult months. Our mission is to build healthy families through education, compassion, and spiritual support. Year 2020 for CareNet has been a challenging one, but we haven't stopped giving services to the clients who need it, anywhere from peer counseling to marriage counseling to adoption to depression, and all of our services were free and confidential. I want to tell you that during COVID-19, CareNet closed its doors. But even during these difficult times, we were able to service our existing clients. And in those clients, we even went and delivered baskets to some that needed those special help and services. During the last couple of months, We also took the time to retrain our staff in how to service our clients virtually so that we can be done so it can be done legally. We were blessed with an abundant donation for Empowering Women Through Motion, who supplied all the diapers and boxes of things that clients needed. We are so grateful and thankful for them. Today, we know that more than 60 million babies have been lost to abortion. While the cumulative abortion rates continue to rise, we know that medical abortions continue to rise. But during this past 34 years, our volunteers and staff have chosen to love life in the womb. We couldn't have done it without them and you. For that, we are grateful. And now, you're going to hear from a couple of our staff members. Please enjoy.
My name is Lee Rogers. I'm the admin here at CareNet as well as a volunteer. It's really an extremely rewarding position that I have here, not only as the admin, but in dealing with the donors and donations and things like that, but also having to see lives change. Over the years, many children have been saved, and it's because these young women, we gave them options. We supplied Pampers and different other supplies for them up until the baby's 1 year old. And even then, if we have to, we can, help them with other agencies that can help them further on.
I got involved with CareNet because I always wanted to help women when they found out that they're pregnant. You get very close to your clients because you care about them and you want to help them.
I've seen a lot of lives transformed since I've been here over these years, and it's just so rewarding to know that this pleases our Lord and that I'm doing something to please Him.
I named this year's theme Love Life, and in a moment, you'll know why, as I introduce the segment with Lisa Washington and David Benham.
Thank you so much, Gloria. It truly is a privilege to be sharing with you all tonight. My name is Lisa Richardson Washington, and I'm the New York City Director of Love Life. I had the privilege of meeting Gloria just a few months ago through a mutual friend who felt like our ministries were compatible. Love Life is a ministry and an organization whose vision and mission is to see God create a culture of love and life by uniting and mobilizing the church, so that families that are faced with unwanted pregnancies would stop running to the abortion mills and would start finding help through local churches. We do believe that this is the culture shift that is needed, especially in our day today, to see God bring an end to the abortion and orphan crisis in our country and even around the world. I believe that God got me involved in this ministry because my life has been impacted by abortion on both sides of the issue. You see, I am the youngest of 9 children born into a difficult marriage. My oldest siblings are 20 years, 19 years, 18 years older than me, respectively. My mom never intended to have such a large family. On the contrary, she actually did everything she knew to not have so many children. And that even included her having a surgical procedure to not have children. But she needed my dad's permission, but my father refused. You see, in those days, married men had reproductive rights that they no longer have. And so by the time that I was conceived, my mom was pretty overwhelmed. She was pretty devastated. But for my dad, he felt like all the kids that my mom and dad had were the kids that God intended for them to have. So you see, the hard truth about my beginning is that I was an unwanted child. But I thank God that I had my dad who fought for me. And another interesting fact about my life is I was actually conceived right before abortion on demand happened in this country. So God in his providence allowed me to be conceived and to be born right before abortion on demand happened in New York City, which eventually gave way to Roe versus Wade. I realize now that if I had been conceived at any other time, there's a real possibility that I wouldn't be standing before you today. Looking back, I truly thank God that I had my dad and that I had the law on my side to advocate for me. But beyond my father and beyond the law, I realized that God was fighting for me. I believe that God intended for me to be born, and that's why I'm here today. That's why verses like Jeremiah 1, verses 5, and other verses like Psalm 22, verse 9 and 10 are life verses for me today. God knew me before he formed me in my mother's womb. And he was my God while I was in my mother's womb, and it was him that brought me safely out. Tragically, however, when I was a teenage girl, just dealing with all of these intricacies of my parents' marriage, I was really overrun by a lot of insecurity and rejection issues, and this brokenness played out in a multitude of ways. But the primary way that it played out in my life was I found myself involved in ungodly, sexually immoral relationships. And one of those relationships resulted in an unwanted pregnancy. Now, even though I wasn't raised in a Christian home, I clearly knew that abortion was not right. Not only did I know that it wasn't right, I also had my own life to reflect upon and realize firsthand that life is a precious gift that is given by God. Unfortunately, I felt like abortion was the only option for me. And so I grappled with the decision for many, many months. And by the time that I was 4.5 months pregnant, I ended up having an abortion. Because I was in my second trimester, it was a 2-day procedure that I absolutely was unprepared for. And this procedure left me in a whirlwind of pain, of sorrow, of heartache. It literally left me a shell of myself. And in the aftermath, I found myself battling terribly with guilt, condemnation, shame, self-loathing, and I was even physically sick from my abortion. But the Bible also says that where sin did abound, grace does much more abound. And one of the ways that God's grace was made evident in my life is that one of my sisters became a Christian. And she started praying for me, and then another sister became born again, and the two of them prayed for me over a 9-year period of time. My second oldest sister ended up inviting me to Times Square Church. And on my second visit there, I had a life-altering encounter with Jesus Christ. And that was the beginning of God making me into a brand new person. He began to reveal himself to me like never before. And during the course of intense prayer and Bible study, he began to speak to me even about the post-trauma of my abortion. And it was probably about 12 years later. It was a long, hard road, but within about a 12-year period of time, I got totally set free from the residue of my abortion. God broke all of the guilt. He broke all of the shame. He broke all of the condemnation. And just because Jesus is very merciful and kind, he even healed me physically. And I've never, ever been sick ever again. And so today I live to be an advocate for the preborn, just like my dad was an advocate for me, just like I had the law on my side, just like God himself was advocating for me. Now he's called me to advocate for the preborn full time. And I live to share my testimony with not just women, but with men that are faced with an unwanted pregnancy, in the hopes that they too won't make the same tragic mistake that I made. But even if they did, to know that abortion is not the unforgivable sin. There is forgiveness, there is healing, there is restoration, all through faith in Jesus Christ. I stand here today as a living witness to say, just like it was in the Bible, in the story of Joseph, everything that the devil meant for evil, God has now worked for my good, because he is a good God who is full of rich mercy and kindness. I want to encourage everyone, all the friends and the supporters of the CareNet ministry, to please continue to be involved. It is such a vital form of ministry, especially in this day and age. I myself, again, as a post-abortive woman, I know firsthand the resources that are needed for moms that are faced with unwanted pregnancies. They need help. They need practical support. They need counsel. They need prayer. And CareNet is a ministry that is offering these vital services, not just to women, but to families that are faced with unwanted pregnancies. And so I can't encourage everyone enough to please get involved. It's a wonderful thing to pray, but it's another thing to put our faith into action and to actually be the physical hands and feet to those that need dire help faced with unwanted pregnancies.
Hey, we're the Benham Brothers. I'm David. This is my little brother, Jason. We are identical twins. I'm 2 minutes older than he is. And it's just such an honor to follow Lisa Richardson and her amazing testimony and all of what God is doing there in New York. And I think about the CareNet Pregnancy Center there in Rockland under the leadership of Gloria and the others. And we just want to encourage you. We're here in Charlotte. I'm in my home today. And we do a lot of pro-life activity here in Charlotte and around the country. We just want to encourage you that God is with you. That he tells us that whatever we do for the least of these, we've done as unto him. And you know what? When we get on board and when you get behind an organization like the CareNet Pregnancy Center, it's just so important. It really matters because the Lord teaches us in Scripture that he wants us. He says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. I'll tell you what, if you read through the list of resources and the list of services that this amazing center is offering these abortion-minded, abortion-vulnerable, and even abortion-determined mothers, it is amazing. It's so many good works that really shine the light. And these moms, a lot of them, they have no choice. They feel like they have no choice. And the overwhelming majority of them say that if the dad would take responsibility or if I had a community that could help me, then I would not have to make this choice. And so to come alongside this amazing ministry, to get behind them, they need friends, they need funds. Jason and I have gotten behind them. We want to encourage you to do the same thing. But now is our moment. It's 2020 right now. 2020. We don't know if the Lord's going to come back. Maybe he is. Maybe there's a great awakening around the corner. But I'll tell you what, when he returns or if an awakening comes, let him find us standing up for the unborn. And not just the unborn, for these mothers that desperately need some help.
For my brother and I, we owned so many different businesses and God had really blessed them back in 2012. And then we got a reality show with HGTV, but we were also very vocal pro-life guys, and we had started a pro-life ministry in Charlotte where we were from, and ultimately, because of being so vocal, we ended up getting kicked off the network. Maybe one day we'll get a chance to come there and tell you the story, but the Goliath of today is this bully agenda that wants to silence Christians and stop them from standing for life. Now, there's a lot of other issues out there, but I'm telling you, life is the key pivotal issue. That's why we love what CareNet's doing. And we're just so thankful to be a part. Listen, like David said, they need friends, they need funds, and you can be both. We can be both. We need to stand in the gap for these babies today.
This is our way to shine light. We can do good work, and this ministry is doing great work. So please get behind them. We're pleading with you because we're doing it ourselves with this amazing facility in Rockland. God bless you guys, all of you in New York, and those of you that are watching digitally from other parts of the country. Now is our time. The baton is in our hand. The great cloud of witnesses, they've all run their leg. Now is our time to run as hard as we possibly can. God bless you guys. We got this.
Thank you, David, for standing behind CareNet. And if you would like to support CareNet, here are some options that you may want to consider. For one, our most important option right now is to restore our ultrasound option services so that a mother can see her baby in the womb at a cost of $6,000 to hire a part-time technician. As a donor-supported organization, we always run short on funds on how to do client marketing. Consider doing $3,000 gift to this end. Or sponsor $1,000 to provide a family with diapers and wipes for a year, or $350 for a 12-month subscription for parenting classes. Finally, consider becoming a volunteer and getting involved. Above all, please consider becoming a partner for life. You may choose to complete a physical card and choose whether you want monthly pledge or a one-time pledge and send us cash or check, or you may choose our only online giving option. Through all of these, you can choose how you want to give and what amount. I want to end our time together saying, tonight we celebrated 34 years of God's faithfulness, 5 babies saved, courageous stewardship, and faithful givers like you. I also want to thank all those who hosted our event, either at church or our home. May the Lord greatly bless you as you consider your support of CareNet Pregnancy Center of Rockland. Thank you and good night.
God is the creator of life. A Bible says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Jeremiah 1:5. For you were created, my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works is wonderful. I know that full well. My plan was not hidden from you when I was made in a secret place, and I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me was written in your book, for one of them came to be. Psalm 139:13-16. For I know the plans I have for you, cares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, for not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11.